Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our very first Clear View System webinar. We are so excited to have each and every one of you here. We have a lot of information to cover today, so I'm not going to take up much of your time, but I did want to mention a few things before we get started. So to begin with, we have a question and answer time at the end of this session. So if you have any questions, make sure to put those in the chat box, which should be located on the right of your screen. And we will get to those at the end of the session. Also, if for some reason you're not able to stay with us till the end, that's okay. This webinar is going to be recorded, so you can go back and watch it. And finally, for those of you who are able to stick around, we do have something special for you that is our way of saying thank you. It's a special offer that we have at the end. So make sure to stick around, and we're going to go ahead and get started now. I'm going to turn things over to Houman, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Clear View System, the company.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will briefly give you some information about who we are and what we are offering to our clients. We are a software development company based in Vancouver, Canada, and we started this company in 2003. Our specialize is in financial systems and AML compliance solutions. We have various products that we are offering to our clients. We have a CurrencyXchanger, which is our desktop application. We have CXR Cloud. We also offer rate integration from the software to the rate boards or to your website. We also provide mobile app and APIs. Our services is not limited to the products that we are offering. We also offer customization on any of the applications we are offering to our clients. We also offer API integration. After we set up the software for each one of our clients and configure all the regulations and setups, and after we provide training, we also provide support to our clients. We also provide custom report services. So if any of our clients are requiring some reports that is customized only to their operation, to their company, this is something that we also do over and above the reports that is provided by the software. We also provide mobile app development for KYC and AML. Our tech support team are in different time zones as we are offering our services to over 35 countries. So somehow by doing so, we can just cover more time zones and provide a better service and experience to our clients. The industries that is our target market are money service businesses, travel agencies, cruise ships, hotels and resorts, tourist shops, casinos, private equity firms, real estate investors, accounting firms, import-export companies. So as you can see, it's a broad range of companies and industries that we can provide our services to. On the next slide, we added some of the abbreviations with the industry terms and some of the ones that we use in our material and in our software, like purpose of transaction, source of funds, third-party determination, for your knowledge. So this was a quick overview of who we are and what we are offering to our clients. Now I'm going to turn this to Tiran, and he's going to talk to you about our new product and what's coming next. Thank you so much. Tiran?
Thank you very much, Houman. Appreciate it. So we know CXR 7, we've been promising this going to be coming soon, and finally it is coming soon, very soon. We're hoping maybe even Q1 of this year. CXR 7 comes with a lot of new features, especially in the AML. So I'm going to talk about what is new and what is improved, and some of the old features that some of you may not be familiar with. We'll also go through them. just to have an overview of the overall AML functionalities of the system. So we have a new improved a new menu. We have a new interface in CXR7, which will show some screenshots. We have new sanction screening with more options. We have continuous monitoring, which allows sanction screening in the background on a frequency of your choosing. We also have live screening, which means you can enter a name and immediately do a live search on that name without having to create a customer profile. We have a completely revamped transaction monitoring module, which is basically consists of an improved rule engine and a case management. We used to have review tools. We still have those, and they have been improved in the new version. We have audit tools, an audit query editor, which many of our users love and use all the time. We have an audit control module, which is allowing now very fine-grained monitoring of everything that changes in the system. For example, an occupation of a customer changes, and it can track that, when it changed, who changed it, etc. We have an audit trail for all transactions, any transactional change, modification, deletion, it's all going to be logged in the system. We have very extensive log, as you will see, and some of those are the sanction screening log, which allows you to show your auditors when you get audited that you have done your screening at the time, before doing the transactions. Everything will be logged properly. There's a profile review log, which will show that you are continuously reviewing your customer profiles. And there's a risk review log, which will show when the customer risk was reviewed. And we also have reporting tool for example, FinTrack in Canada. BAT reporting is now part of the system. And we have New Zealand, Fiji, and Australia reporting as well. Let's talk about the sanction screening and the PEP screening, which is one of the major part of the AML in the CXR7. As you can see, the AML menu has been improved. Now it's one central place to look for everything AML. It's a long list, but it's very well categorized. We have a new dashboard, which it was basically one of the feedback from many compliance officers. We have log management, list management, and reporting under that menu. The previously supported sanction lists are the most popular ones, or the ones that are most common internationally. We have 10 of them, including OFAC, Public Safety Canada, United Nations Security Council, the European Union, etc. And many of you are already familiar with this. But now we have new integrations. We have integration with opensanctions.org, and that's a very powerful sanction list provider. We have both support for PEP and sanction list, and some of these they get updated several times a day. KYC 2020 is also part of our integration, a very good Canadian company that offers PEP and sanction screening. We have integration with MemberCheck, which offers PEP sanction screening and adverse media. And also we are working on integration with Regula, which allows identity verification, automatic, and basically using API. You upload the picture ID of a customer and it will be automatically verified with their services. With our sanction screening, as some of you know, we have 4 levels of search, and these are the fuzzy search, from the strict to the loosest. So the strictest is called quick, which basically does a very quick search, but you have to enter the full name of the person as it appears on their picture ID. And then we have several other levels, all the way to full text, which allows you to overcome misspelling. You can omit the middle names. You can even put the last name and first name backwards, it will still find the name on this different sanction list. As you know, with more, the full text will probably give you the most success rate, especially during when you get audited. Sometimes they are looking for, they provide partial names, and you want to make sure that it's caught in the system. This is a sample search for John Doe in the full text search mode. As you can see, it finds even soundex, names that are sounding like John Doe in different languages. In this case, so then we have some new options. These are very easy to set, and they can be set for each sanction list separately. So you can tell what you want to be checked: the customers, the invoices, companies, banks, agents, third parties, beneficiaries. You have a feature to activate, or you can say all of them. And every time you add a new agent or an invoice, the sanction screening will happen on that particular blacklist. So this is per sanction list. We do have, as before, we had entity screening. So all our sanction lists come in individual, come in pair, and the entity list. You can list search for banks, organization, third parties, NGOs, charities. Any organization name will be quickly found. So when you enter a name of a customer, as soon as you enter the company name that they work for, those will also be checked, as you have seen. With PEP screening, we have also a very simple interface. The same way you can do PEP screening, you can omit a middle name or several middle names, and I will find it. Our PEP screening is, we have two different sources, and it finds all different kinds of people on the political parties, etc. Let's talk about the transaction monitoring. I think this is one of the most advanced module of the CXR7, and it's been revamped quite a bit since the last version. And we have the advanced rule engine. Basically, the rule engine drives the transaction monitoring. It's where you define the criteria or the rules that you require for the system to catch. When a certain transaction is caught by the rule engine, it is sent to the AML alert module as form of a notification as a new record, and it opens a case for the compliance officer to look into and close them. So basically, it becomes just a matter of looking at the open cases and closing them. This is the look and feel of the new the rule engine. And as you can see, there's the purple section is the criteria and the scope. The green section is where the KYC requirements and the due diligence requirements are added. And the actions on the right are where you tell the system what to do when a certain criteria is met. And just to go through them one by one, the criteria allows you to define when to trigger the rule. For example, you can say that the rule shall be triggered when we add a new customer, or after we save an invoice, or before we even create the invoice, the rule should be triggered. The what should trigger the rule is in terms of numerical conditions, KYC conditions, what kind of transactional stats you want the system to look for. For example, number of branches the transaction have been done, broken down into several branches over a certain amount of time. That's the what section. And the who will say what type of customer should the rule apply to, individuals, companies, or all of them. You can even say what industry, what occupation specifically want the rule to apply, or group of customers. Now we have province. You can say this rule applies to a particular province or a particular country. If you have people living in different countries, you can specify the scope for the country. For the KYC requirement, we have, you can specify what becomes mandatory, and the system will look for this information when the rule is met. It will ask for all of this to be in the system. So if any of these information that you check in the KYC is missing, the system will prevent the transaction until it's been entered. As for EDD requirement, these are information that are required to save the transaction, such as purpose of transaction, source of funds, or third-party determination. The actions are basically where you specify what you want the system to do, and these can be very powerful actions. You can run a method. You can run very custom method, like to print a form, to call API, to send an email, to require approval of a manager, to send an email to a manager, or altogether reject the transaction. You can freeze an account. You can assign a risk rating, which is something new in the new version. Basically, automatic risk rating based on the criteria can be done. And you can also set the next review date for a customer, as well as the business relationship. So this can be done as part of the rule. Some scenarios that can be handled with the new rule engine is, for example, you can say require manager approval if the transaction source of fund is from a lottery winning, or if mark the customer as high risk if they have an EFTO to a high-risk country, an electronic fund transfer to a high-risk country, or you want to put the customer on hold temporarily or permanently if the customer does not want to disclose purpose of transaction or source of fund. You can also say you can mark a customer that is a PEP as high risk. So all those rules can be entered in the rule engine now. The customer does multiple transactions same day, more than 2 branches, adding for 10K, you can say you require enhanced due diligence, third-party determination, and you can mark the transaction as SDR. And the new reporting engine will actually pick up from where the rule engine will set these flags. The second part, the important part of the transaction monitoring, is the AML module, which is the case manager. As you can see here, we have a bunch of LCTs that were detected by the system. The red ones are the cases that require attention of the compliance officer, and the green ones are the ones that the compliance officer has looked into. And there's one that's gray, and that's one that requires further investigation or potentially requires more documentations, etc., before a decision is made. And decision can be whether to report this as an LCT or not, depending on the circumstances. Here we have 2 screenshots of a case. One has been resolved and one is showing pending. So it's very easy to see what's the case, what's the reason, and the description of the rule that was matched, and how and who resolved it. The next thing is the audit tools. And some of you may be familiar with these. We have the audit query tool, which is very useful and very popular among our customers, and auditors also like that. We have the audit trail module and audit controls. So with the audit query tool here, we have a screenshot of it. You can, it can help with your audit. So auditors sometimes ask for certain things. So like you get a FinTrack audit, they may say, we want to see all cash transaction between a certain amount of range, between a certain date range, that has been done exclusively to customers, exclude all the companies, etc. So you can set it very easily in here and run the query, and it will give you that. Another thing that the query tool can do is activate relations. So you can run queries on transactions, but then ask the system to show you the customers that are related to this transaction. So it's connected to the rest of the database in terms of relations. It's very easy to do the audit query and look at everything with a 360 view of what's going on. The audit trail is a module that we use a lot for debugging and sometimes for finding issues. Customers, sometimes users may delete something by mistake or may have modified something and numbers are not working, or even if some error happens in the system and transactions get, say, deleted, they all go in the audit trail module where you can see the changes, who did the changes, when it was modified or deleted, and you can verify anomalies. The audit control tool is a very powerful tool which allows you to set what you want to be monitored. So the system can monitor every table and every field of every table. If, for example, you can say, I want the occupation of a customer or the address of a customer to be properly archived and logged, and every time there's a change to it. And the system will do that. You can say, I want the whole customer record to be archived every time it's been deleted. So there's a whole bunch of rules you can set in the audit control, which can help with future audits. And auditors always ask why something has been deleted or something is modified. And there's a full trail of it in the audit control module. The next thing is the customer profile and risk review tool. This is, again, a very popular tool with our customers and auditors, and we've received very good feedback from FinTrack and other auditors. It's basically a tool that allows you to periodically verify your customers and verify their information and make sure it's all correct. Everything you see on this screen is gibberish, so nothing is real. You can validate emails, addresses, and everything. And as you go through the review, it's basically very simple. You click a bunch of checkboxes, and it guides you through the review. Very simple workflow. And once you have done it all, it gets logged, who did this review, when it was done, and any notes will be logged as well. We also have a very extensive risk review system, which allows the compliance officers to look at the customer profile, risk review them. And sometimes if you have automated risk assignment, you can also verify that and approve it or change it. This gives, again, a 360 view of the customer, their transaction, what they did, where they live, and everything all together in one place to take a look at. Super simple. The next thing is the audit logs. Basically, the audit logs are where things are getting logged in the system. We have lots of different logs, but the most important one, the sanction log, the risk review log, profile review log, and exceptions log, and batch report log. Now I'll go through them quickly. Here we have a sanction log and PEP screening log. Basically, you can look back and see all the names that you have screened and the result, whether there was a match, a similar match, or no match, which sanction list it's been checked, when it was checked, when it was verified, and it's very, very useful with audits. You have the risk review log. Every time you do a risk review of a customer, the system logs it. And not only it logs your notes, but the system adds its own automated note of if in case you forget to add some review notes. So it can tell you what you really did during the review. For example, you changed the risk index, you changed the purpose of relationship, or the general purpose of transaction was changed. So all of that will be logged by the system. The profile review log, as I showed, that workflow is going to also be logged. Not only your review notes, but every checkbox that you click will be logged. Which one you checked at the time, it's all going to be in the system for auditors to review. Exceptions log is something perhaps not many customers use, but it's very useful to find not only AML related issues, but when a user adjusts a rate and maybe there's sometimes too much, or a teller is counting their cash and perhaps there's no, the cash is not matching the physical cash, and they adjust their account. So everything will be logged. And managers can look at this and ask questions and say, why did you give discount here or there? It's all going to be there. The AML reporting is another important big feature that we have, and we worked a lot. One of our team members, Jamie, he is the master of the AML reporting, all the batch reporting. And this year we're going to add some more countries, but at the moment we have 4 countries that we support. But with our rule-based system now, we can basically support any country with minor customization of a template. Basically, we set the rules of that particular country, and then we have to create a template for export. And the rule can say if this is an SDR, an LCT, or an EFT, and accordingly, those can be reported. And this is a picture of the rule engine showing records that must be reported. The information of the reporting person and entity will be on the top. In the bottom, you will see transactions that are matching certain criteria, and then you click generate XML file. In this case, for New Zealand, it's an XML file, but other countries have different standards. I think we have reached our Q&A session. We're a little ahead of time. Hopefully this was not too boring.
So just as a quick reminder for everyone, you can put your questions in the chat on the left side of your screen, and we should be able to see those. And hopefully we can answer your questions. We provided a lot of information today, so hopefully we can help answer your questions. Also, during this session, as we talked about, there is going to be a special gift that we're offering to you guys and everything. And while you guys are putting your questions in the chat, if there are any, Silera, would you like to share with us a little bit about what we are offering our viewers today?
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for coming. What we have for you guys, we didn't want to leave you empty-handed, so we have a few discounts, an awesome AML guide that is very practical, developed by our team. And if you would like to reach us, or if you have any questions for us, you can also contact us in the description box below. We will email you the quick survey. It'll take a minute just to complete. Thanks, everyone. I will pass the word to Noel.
Awesome. Well, Tiran, so far I am not seeing any questions, so I take that as a good indicator that your presentation was very thorough. And is there anything else that you would like to add before we conclude?
I just want to thank everyone who attended the webinar. It's our first. Obviously, we're going to have more of these webinars, and showing more features that we add. We want to be letting our customers know what is being changed in the system and what we're working on a little bit more frequently than before. With version 7 being released, there will be a lot of new changes much faster than before. So yeah, we're hoping that you enjoyed this seminar and it was useful in some way or another. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us or just put it in the chat, and in the next couple of minutes. If not, we can say basically thank you, and we will see you the next time.
Right. Yes. Seeing a lot of thank yous, Tiran. So that's great.
Fantastic.
That's great. Well, again, everyone, once we wrap up this webinar, of course, you can always reach out to us. The link to our contact page is in the description below. And also any information that we talked about in this webinar can be reviewed again, because this will be recorded, or it is recorded, and you can go back and watch again. And also the form for the feedback and to receive the offerings that we talked about today, it's in the description below, and we will be also be sending that to you via email. So I think we're ready to wrap up. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out, and thank you for Tiran for presenting. And we look forward to seeing you guys at our next webinar.